So, the UK has voted to exit the European Union. Now, watching the news over the last couple of hours, it seems the process will take around about 2 to 2.5 years to complete. This is basically called Article 50, which basically means that any member of the European Union, if they do so choose, can leave. But obviously there's lots of legal things, lots of different things to go on in the next 2 years to make that a reality. Obviously, since the result was announced, David Cameron has resigned as the UK Prime Minister. Boris Johnson is apparently the favourite by the bookies to take over the Prime Ministerial position, which to me just says, oh, good God help us, please, no him. He's a bumbling twit, he really is. I can use much stronger words, but in my opinion, he would be the worst. Him as Prime Minister would be the worst case scenario coming out of all of this. And I voted and I supported the Remain campaign, so the result annoys me. But I want to look at some of the facts and some of the figures really about the referendum results. I'll try and keep it very basic to the countries. Obviously, 382 voting areas in this. Really, basically, just very simply, 382 areas that they divided the country up into in order to count the votes, so that they're not counting them all in the one place. Basically, obviously, just with any election, they're always divided up into areas. So, amongst the 382 voting areas, there were 326 of those areas in England. There was a single voting area for Northern Ireland. So Northern Ireland was classified as a complete single voting area. Scotland had 32 voting areas. Wales was divided into 22 voting areas. And Gibraltar, a British Overseas Territory, was another single voting area. Looking at the divisiveness of the opinions in the political parties, very quickly, there was parties like the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, the SNP, Scottish National Party, the Scottish Green Party, Sinn Féin, and others with supporting the Remain campaign, and there was parties, of course, supporting the Leave campaign, such as the Democratic Unionist Party, DUP, and the UK Independence Party, UKIP. I really should spit after saying their name, but anyway, they're a real racist party. I don't like them at all, including their leader Nigel Farage, who is taking great glee from the result today. They say on the Wikipedia the Conservative Party was neutral. Really wasn't the case. The Conservative Party are the ruling party in the UK and Westminster. They were really actually divided between Leave and Remain. They weren't neutral. I think I don't know what the official party's position was, but certainly it was a divided party amongst the Remain and Leave campaigns. So also, I'm not going to look at total amount of the voting areas. I'm not going to look at the whole of the 382 voting areas. I'll take them by countries, because there's a list of them as long as my arm and longer. So again, 382 voting areas. You could look through the facts and figures on Wikipedia yourself. Just search for the results of the European Referendum 2016. You can find the Wikipedia page there. I'll take it by countries, though. I'll take through countries so that I'll give you the voter turnout, how many votes the Remain and Leave campaigns got, and how much of those countries' percentage did each campaign got. So how many votes Remain got and what percentage of that was in England, how much of it was in Scotland. I'll get to the overall results at the end of this video. First of all, Scotland. Before I go through to this, talk about these countries' results and give you the Scotland result, a couple of things. The turnout seemed okay. I think I might have it in the last page. I've only got 4 pages here. I'm not sure whether I've got I've got quite high turnout, I think, average when it comes to voting and elections, referendum. 72.21% turnout for registered voters, so that is actually quite good. I'll give you those overall figures at the end, but quite high turnouts overall, I think, across the nations, really, when this European referendum is just, obvious questions are going to be asked by the Remain campaign. Did different political parties do enough? Like I said, the Labour Party, SNP, did they do enough to really push their supporters into voting for their preferred choice? A lot of that will go on in the next few days. Before I give you the Scotland vote as well, just before I started to record this video, Nicola Sturgeon was at Bute House in Edinburgh addressing the press. Basically, she said, obviously, because Scotland, I'll give you the facts, the figures in a minute, but Scotland voted to remain in the European Union, and she basically said that there will have to be a lot of discussion in the Scottish Parliament and between the Scottish Parliament, the Scottish and English British Parliaments. They're going to have a lot of discussion on where Scotland goes in the future. SNP is well known to be pushing for independence. It was one of the driving forces behind getting a Scottish Parliament in the first place, and obviously getting the independence referendum in September of 2014. So Nicola Sturgeon basically says she'll obviously have to have a lot of discussions and sit down with her own party, her own members of Parliament, and everything like that, and see where the Scottish people lie. And obviously we'll see the reaction over the next few days of what the Scottish people actually think to these results. So I'll go into the results now. Scotland had a voter turnout of, obviously these are all percentages of registered voters, so however many the registered voters are in each country, this is a percentage of how much of that 100% of the eligible voters actually voted in this election. So Scotland had 67.2% voter turnout. Remain received 1,661,191 votes, which included myself, which got 62% of the vote. Remain in Scotland received Leave in Scotland, that first figure was Remain. Leave in Scotland got a total of 1,018,322 votes, which gave them 38% of the votes, of the total votes in Scotland. So obviously Scotland 62 to 38% voting to remain in the European Union. Northern Ireland, we'll take that next. They also voted quite impressive, like I said, quite impressive voter turnouts. 62.7% voter turnout in Northern Ireland. Remain received 440,707 votes, which gave them 55.78% of Remain votes in Northern Ireland. Leave received 349,442 votes, which gave Leave 44.22% result in Northern Ireland. So they are, Northern Ireland and Scotland, both voting to remain in the European Union. Wales next, again another very impressive turnout in Wales. 71.7% voted in Wales, which again is a very high turnout. Great to see, that people are actually involved in politics. And I don't think it's extremely difficult right now to judge what kind of percentage of votes either side did not get because of either voter apathy that people didn't vote or couldn't make up their minds on which way to vote. It's practically, in my opinion, nigh on impossible to really to actually get those kinds of figures. I know there's a percentage of people who didn't vote, but it's very difficult I said, practically nigh impossible to really find out the reasons to a complete degree of why people didn't vote. Wales, the Welsh result, 71.7% voter turnout. They got in Wales. Remain got 772,347 votes, which gave Remain 47.47%, and Leave got 854,572 votes, which gave the Leave campaign 52.53%, which means Wales voted to Leave. That, I think that is correct. Yes, Leave got Leave in Wales 52.53%. So Northern Ireland and Scotland voted to Remain. Wales voted to Leave, which was obviously mirrored by England, which is also the largest country. Turnout voting in England of 73%. It says exactly 73.0% voter turnout of eligible voters. So in England, Remain received 13,266,996 votes, which gave Remain 46.6%, and Leave received 15,188,406 votes, which gave Leave a total of 53.4% of the vote. So Northern Ireland and Scotland voted Remain. Wales and England voted Leave, and Gibraltar was included in the south west of England. But I believe I saw Gibraltar I think it was about 20 to 12. They voted. I think Gibraltar was the first to declare, and they voted to Remain. So overall, the overall totals of the European Union membership referendum of June 23rd, 2016. So overall, there was. I mean, I have to say, before I get to these results, it's amazing listening to some of the reasons why some of the ballots were made ineligible. Were cast aside as not being valid votes. So some of the reasons still mystify me about how obviously some of them are deliberate, but it's a ridiculous amount of votes that really that are not eligible. It's stupid how there could be so many votes that end up not being eligible for whatever reason. The person could be identified, they're unclear, or some of it, obviously, as I said, some of it maybe is deliberate. Some of it will be obviously maybe accidental. Maybe some people being too embarrassed and think, oh no, I'll just put it in and it'll probably count. And maybe when they come to examine it, it's not eligible. But it is silly that these days. I mean, there must be obviously ways to take care of that, whether it be somebody needing some help or to really have there's a lot of talking about the invalid or blank votes, 26,033 votes in this whole referendum were invalid. I really, again, it mystifies me sometimes how that can be so high in these elections or referendums. So the total number of registered voters turnout was again 46,501,241, which when again some people didn't vote. Total number of votes 33,578,016. So that is just basically that's the amount of total votes, I believe. 33,578,016. But overall, of course, what really the two figures that really mean everything in this European referendum was the amount of, well, four figures really that mean everything, was the votes for Remain and votes for Leave, which again, that's total number of votes. Invalid votes, obviously, you take off the 26,033, but the four figures that are the most important, that people really obviously are paying attention to, is the amount of votes and the percentages, which left overall Remain, over all of the 382 voting areas, Remain received 16,141,241 votes, which gave them 48.11%, and Leave received a total amongst those voting areas of 17,410,742, giving Leave a total of 51.89%. So basically 52% of the votes almost, but certainly an overall very close majority of just over 1.2 million people was the difference between the Leave and Remain campaigns, which, especially when you're considering the amount of people voting, over 33 million people voting, all of the facts, all the figures, all the enormity of the country, the size of the country of the UK, it's an amazingly small amount. Just over, I think it was 1.26 million people made the difference between UK leaving or remaining as part of the European Union. So that is what the result is. That is what the figures is, basically. Obviously, again, you can go and look through Wikipedia yourself for the facts. Obviously, I'm no political analyst, but that as in a lot of these these referendums or elections, I always want to go through the figures and see how the vote tallies. That is, it's not. I mean, a lot of, basically, for those that say, it was obviously going to always be very, very close. It was always going to be a close run thing. Again, as I said in my last video, when I talked about a very quick video talking about the result, I got a few tweets saying, because I got a couple more since I recorded that video, saying that, oh, this is, Leave is going to win by a landslide, or this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Or, I think it was very, very close. That is for sure. 1.26 million people were the difference. And again, when you consider the amount of people voting, 48 to 52%, it really was so close in this referendum. It certainly wasn't a landslide by any means whatsoever. The fallout is going to continue over the next few days. As I said, David Cameron has resigned. Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister of Scotland, is currently obviously considering her position, considering the Scottish Parliament and the people of Scotland's position. Obviously, I'm sure we will get a lot of feedback from the people of Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Gibraltar, all over the next few days. This is obviously the official announcement was only just about 4 hours ago now, as I record this, because I know it's going to take quite a while to upload this, but about 4 hours ago now, only 4 hours, the result was known. Wrong decision in my opinion. I voted Remain. I wanted Remain. I think the world is so divisive, and I did mean to do a video about divisiveness, and I will do that in the next few days when I get the opportunity. But it's sad. They say that the world, they say people in the world will always revert to tribalism, and sadly, with things like that's gone on in America, Donald Trump now splitting with the EU, sadly it seems to be the case, and I do have to fear for what the future is for the UK. Have we just screwed ourselves with Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage handing us the big bottle of lubricant to do it? it seems such a possibility in my mind. So I don't know, the fallout will continue over the next few days and I'll talk about it then, but certainly the UK, Britain, has voted to leave the European Union at this time.